Hi guys, welcome to the Soul on Fire show. I am so excited today because today I have for you one of my favorite humans on the planet. He's going to bring so much joy to your soul. Just sit back and relax, guys. We are going to have such an amazing show. Today I'm with my beautiful friend, Ken Joslin. He is a pastor that has turned into a business coach and is a serial entrepreneur. He's a real estate guru and he is just a business badass. And I am so grateful for him in my life. And I'm so grateful to bring him to you on this show. Thank you so much for watching on the live. Thank you for watching on the replay. Guys, we have such a special treat. So sit back. This is an hour-long show, and normally I do a segment by myself on mindset and getting into the mind-body-soul connection. But today I want you to have as much Ken as possible because he just brings joy to my soul. And I know he's going to bring so much joy to yours. So I'm going to bring him on right now. Hey, Ken, how are you?
What's up, my friend?
How are you doing? Thanks for being here.
I'm good. That bio made me sound like I was actually somebody important or something, didn't it?
You are. Well, you're important to me. You're one of my favorite humans, right? I think that's pretty well known. So tell us about you and who you are and what you do. I know that you're like your journey going from a pastor to being an entrepreneurial coach and teaching people business and real estate. It's such a huge thing that you do right now because you bring spirituality into the business space, which is such a beautiful gift.
Yeah, so I spent half of the last 25 to 30 years in real estate, top mortgage broker in Georgia for about 8 or 9 years. One of the top wholesale brokers for Countrywide and SunTrust about 3 or 4 years in a row. Out of that, real estate, now I've got teams with EXP in Birmingham, Alabama, and in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
You're from the South? I couldn't tell.
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. And then, so I've been doing that about half the time. The other half of that 25 years in full-time vocational ministry, pastoring churches, planting churches, just really raising up leaders in the kingdom. And so now we do, we've got the real estate, both states, as I mentioned. And then I've got a little brand we started called Grow Stack Drive, GSD, as we call it. About a year and a half to 2 years ago, we coach and consult. We've got an online community that's ridiculously amazing, made up of, it's such a diverse group, which I love. We've got entrepreneurs from just starting to entrepreneurs who are, I've got a guy doing over 100 million this year. And all in between, we do online coaching calls. I've got online courses geared around mindset, strategy, leadership development, podcast, book. And then we do a little conference called Create in January. End of January, just did about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Atlanta with John Maxwell and Jesse Itzler and some amazing people like that. And looking forward to next year's conference, our mastermind, and just all the amazing things. It blows me away every day. I get up and I go, I get to do this for a living. Like, this is what I get to do. I get to hang around some of the most amazing people in the world, like Randy Garn, who's a dear friend of ours who actually got us connected. I get to hang around some amazing human beings, and it's, sometimes I pinch myself. I'm like, is this real? Like, I really get to do this? So yeah, so it's fun, and I love helping people.
You do. And one thing that you left out that I want my audience to know is you have the biggest heart. Like, you're a big guy, but you have, like, you're a teddy bear, right? You have the biggest heart in the world. And thank you for bringing your gifts to the world. You truly represent the divine masculine in this space, which is so needed in this world today. So let's talk about business and mindset and understanding what it takes to truly move into an entrepreneurial space. And I know you've been speaking even as a pastor for so many years, but let's talk about, like, everything when you're moving into your soul's purpose and you're moving into the fear and you're moving beyond all of that, right? To get to, break the walls and move into your circle of greatness. What does that look like for you?
I mean, I think it starts with understanding what your purpose is. I think it starts with understanding, like, why am I here? Like what is my purpose? And I think people a lot of times they trip over trying to find their purpose because they don't really know what it is. And I would just define it like this. What do you do in your life that gives you a high level of fulfillment and satisfaction? That gives you a high level of, like I just said, dude, I get to do this for a living. This is what I get to do. And I was on another podcast earlier with a really good friend of mine who's a 10Xer, and I love Grant, and Grant's been huge in everything I've done. I spoke at 10X headquarters for Grant a couple of times. So I'm a licensee. I spoke to all the licensees around the world. And we differ a little bit in this, where Grant goes, making money is not really about your purpose. Just, go make money. I'm a little different than that. I think you can live according to your purpose and learn how to monetize that. And really, I think the difference is at the end of the day, when you lay down in your bed and you put your head on your pillow at nighttime, and you can do that with a high level of fulfillment. You can't put a price tag on that. You can't, there's not a dollar amount. There's not a comma. There's not a zero. You can add to whatever your bank account says it's got in it. You cannot buy fulfillment. You cannot purchase the peace when you lay down at night going, man, I helped this individual. I literally just had a thing. I want to read this. It blew me away today. A young guy came in. He's a military guy, came to Create Conference. I don't even know how they heard about what we were doing. And he posted a video today, and I asked him, I said, what's your biggest takeaway from last week's conference? And he's been in this challenge. We're doing this Create Challenge, incremental, not monumental challenge. He said, Ken, I have to say that it comes back to intentionality. I have gotten more done since your conference than I have in 8 years. Now, he's a vet, 2-time Iraq, Afghanistan, suffers from PTSD. Some things have been very difficult for him. This is what he said. Be intentionally aggressive towards your goals. If something gets in the way, I shift my focus to that, but never forget what the end game is. This is about as simple as I can put it without going into a rant, because I'm the type of person that can talk today. But he said, I've gotten more done since your conference than I have in 8 years, in 2 weeks. Like, when you read those kind of text messages from guys that's in our private Facebook group, and you know what kind of background and history he's had because of his PTSD, and you see him winning right now at a level he's never won at in 8 years since he separated from the Marine Corps. Dude, like, are you kidding me? I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to sleep good tonight, knowing that God was able to use me to be a catalyst to get this guy in position to be able to win in a way he's not won in a long time.
Well, let's talk about that, right? God, there's God in both of our hearts, right? And so the God source universe, whatever you believe it to be, is all the all-knowing, right? And so let's talk about God in your heart in the business space, right? And I think that for me is one of the most important things in the entrepreneur space, is that understanding discernment. We talked about this morning, right? But when you and I were talking, let's talk about discernment. Let's talk about, because this industry is, there's a lot of douchebags in this industry, right?
I was just talking about that just a minute ago. Yeah, most definitely.
And so let's talk about being in business and coming from a place of a heart-centered business, a God-centered business, and bringing that out to the world, and understanding what that looks like, moving through the fears and all of the things that you have. A lot of my members and a lot of my my audience, they really have super beautiful spiritual gifts, but they're afraid to speak about that publicly. You're so open with that. And I think that's one of the things that I love the most about you, is that God is so in your soul, right? But it's so ingrained in your business, in your morality. Like, everything that you do is God-centered. And so let's talk about that, and the difference between that and discerning what people are right in your business for you and when they're not.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually working tonight for our online coaching community. I'm actually talking about, there's 3 spheres of influence that I talk about a lot. Number 1 is your community. Number 2 is your circle. And number 3 is your corner. And your community is that large group that you travel with. For us, it's GSD. For some of them, it's 10X. For some of them, it may be Noelle's community. So there are a lot of different types of communities out there. But the community is that large group. Seth Godin calls it tribes. He wrote a book called Tribes. Yeah. It's the people that have the same DNA, the same passion, the same like-mindedness. You're going in the same direction. Yeah. The second group is your circle. And your circle is those 10 or 12 people that you spend the most time with. And that's actually what I'm going to talk about tonight. And here's one of the things I have in my notes. If you want to view your circle, I want you to do it through this relational truth. The people you spend time with today will help shape who you are tomorrow. The people you spend time with today will help shape the person you are tomorrow. And I saw this on a post this morning. And this somebody I follow on Instagram. She's a big-time psychologist. Phenomenal. I love her stuff. She said, when you've moved away from certain behaviors or ways of thinking as part of your healing and growth process, don't be so quick to cut people off. Not everyone will understand or be on your level. Give them space to grow. When they come to you, explain to them as best you can the reason for your change. And so I think
I
the community,
love that. That's
oh, it's
incredible.
huge, huge.
And you've
Because
actually helped me through that too. Like you're just like, pause, give me a
yeah,
minute, right?
yeah. One of the things we're going to talk about tonight is how to get the right people, how to get the wrong people out of your life the right way. How do you get the wrong people out of your life the right way? And I
So
always,
how do you do that? How do you do that? Give us some
well,
tips.
I just read you part of that. I think you create separation, depending on the level of relationship, because a lot of people, when you're on if it's a self-development journey, a business growth journey, whatever journey it is, if you're committed to becoming the best version of who you are, that's not going to sit well with a lot of people that are in your community circle or your corner. It's going to be difficult. Like there's going to be family members that do not understand why is he doing this? Why is she doing that? Why are they? And what happens really is they're not upset with you because you're growing. What happens is it reveals their averageness. It reveals their lack of growth or their lack of desire to grow. And when that happens, dude, it's very difficult because they come at you. They're not coming at you from the standpoint of, or for the reason of, they are upset with you. They're upset with you because you've exposed them. And so I think to be able to get rid of the wrong people the right way, I always take the high road. And if you have to have a hard conversation, my pastor and mentor, Sean Lovejoy, says, he's been my coach for 12 years. Sean talks about having last 10% conversations. Sometimes you have to just take some separation. Hey, Noelle, listen, I really care for you. But there's been some things in our relationship that have caused some tension or some things. And for me, I just need some space because I'm on this journey. I'd love for you to take this journey with me, but if you can't, I completely understand. But this is the direction that I'm going. This is the vision that I have for my life. And I love you and I care for you.
Hopefully you never have that conversation with me. But
Well, I just use you because you're sitting right here. But you understand what I'm saying. It's you have to have those conversations. And when you as a leader don't take things personally, or like even tonight, I'm going to talk about how to get rid of the wrong people the right way. You don't look at your circle. The circle is the 10 or 12 people you're spending the most time with. Like, who am I doing life with? You've heard it say this, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. John Maxwell says, you want me to tell you how successful you are? Show me the people that you spend the most time with. Like, so it's not rocket science. And are the people that are in your circle where you want to be at in 6 months or where you want to be at next year? And if they're not, you're in the wrong circle. And you have to navigate relationally, because it doesn't make you better than the other person. It just may make you more well-informed. It may just make you, because you get around the right people, you may be a little more enlightened or may have a little more information that they have. And so it's important to take the high road. And by doing that from a posture of a servant, doing that from a posture of servant leadership versus I'm better than you. You're not doing this. I'm here. You're here. And so I've got to move on because you're holding me back. Like, those should never be words or even thoughts that you have in your mind. Where do I want to go? Who are the people that I want to take the journey with? Now, how do I get the right people in my life?
I love that. You are such a phenomenal human. And I mean, I know you on a little bit of a personal, not too much, but pretty personal. And you just expose a part of you that I truly love. And that the reason why you're so welcome in my life is that you, and you have this beautiful gift of articulating things in such a calm manner. Like, your soul is really like you ground people for sure. So
You've not been around me when I playing basketball or I'm competitive.
Or when you jump, I'm making you skydive, by the way.
Yeah, no, that is never happening. We never have to worry about that. So the over under for your audience, if they want to bet on how many times I'll skydive in my life, that over under is going to be 0.
No,
or it'll be 1.
I promise you that in our lifetime you're going to skydive with me. Okay. So let's talk about matching energy, because I think that's really important in this space. So you said something very, very important. You could choose to, it's a choice, right? You choose to stay and then you choose to be around these people. when they're at a, we speak vibration on this planet, I mean on this planet, but on this show. So when they're at a lower vibration and they're coming at you, right, you can choose to match their energy, or you can rise above it in such an articulate, beautiful, God-centered way that you said. What are some things in the moment when it's heated, right? When you're feeling that trigger, when you're feeling that person either coming at you, or you're super in your ego, and you and I have talked about, our ego moving through it, right? And so what are some points there, especially in business, because this happens quite frequently in business, where there's a relationship that works for a little while and then it doesn't work after that, right? And so, or even relationships in itself, it's just matching energy. So let's talk about matching energy and rising above that, but in the moment when it's happening, how to breathe and take a step and do that, but maybe something else. What are some other things that people can do?
Again, high road's huge. I think you've got to disconnect when emotions are high, intelligence is low. I think you've got to take a minute to breathe. And even if you have to say, hey, I need some space. Give me 5 minutes to kind of process through what's going on. You mentioned something just a minute ago that's huge, and that's triggers. And our responsibility as leaders isn't to react, it's to respond. Reaction and response, two totally different things. Reactions without thought. It's just boom, this is the way I react. Response, or responding to someone, is taking the information, processing the information, and going, okay, what's the best way for me to respond right here to this situation for everybody involved? Now, again, that sounds great. I don't always get it right. I don't. I try to get it right. Some people say all the time, they're like, the entire time I pastored for like 12 years. People say, Ken, how do I pray for you? And I would always say wisdom. James 1:5 says, if you lack wisdom, ask God and he'll give it to you liberally and without reproach. And wisdom the whole book of Proverbs is all about wisdom. Wisdom's huge. And people are like, Ken, you're so wise. Like, you're 53 years old. And I said, well, two things. Number one,
now you're old.
I know, right? I've made a lot of mistakes. Number one, I made a lot of mistakes at 53. Number two, man, I've got some great relationships, and I have had some great people in my life over the past 30 years that have helped me gain in wisdom. And it's not my wisdom, me gaining wisdom from mistakes, or wisdom God gives me. It's wisdom that I see in the relationships of other people that I have. So relationships is it's the number one component for you to not only live out your purpose, but fulfill your purpose, is relationships from other people around you that God will intertwine into your story for them to be able to help take that journey with you and help you grow into the person that you need to be in order to complete that mission or that story that God's put you on.
I swear to God, I could listen to you all day. It's the best. It's the best feeling in the world, being in your orb. So in that space, right, that's the most beautiful thing in the world, is understanding that you get to choose where you are. You get to choose who's in your life. When you rise, there's always going to be things come up. What was the biggest challenge for you moving from a pastor to being in, the space that you're in right now? And how did you overcome that?
To be honest with you, it's so crazy because up until about 3 or 4 months ago, like, I hired Mandy at CMG. So she does all my Instagram videos. She does Brad Lee's Instagram videos and some other kind of, I don't know, you call them influencers, whatever you want to call us. Some other coaches, business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs. She does a lot of our stuff. And I was in an onboarding call with her back at the beginning of October. And Mandy said, Ken, why is it nowhere in your bio that you're a pastor turned coach? And I'm like, I have no idea. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just not there. And she was like, do you realize the niche that you have? And you want to talk about, a target audience. Do you realize the niche that you have? And people go, what's Growth Stack Drive like? And I said, it's like 10X. And the church that I planted in the past got together and had a baby. I mean, it's like a group. It's a faith-based, and it doesn't have to be my faith. Doesn't have to be. It's just a faith-based group of entrepreneurs who are going after not the success part, but the significant part. And I had a mentor. My first book that I did 3 or 4 months ago was totally based off of this premise. My first big conference I ever was featured at was right behind John Maxwell, by almost 9,000 people.
Wow.
My mentor spoke behind me. She sat me down the next day at lunch. She said, Ken, do you want to be significant or do you want to be successful? Because they're two different things. And so it's been a 20-year journey for me of understanding that significant leaders build others around them so those people can win. When people who chase success use other people around them so they themselves can win. And it's a huge different thing. People who start out to be significant will always be successful. But people who start out chasing success will probably never find significance. And they'll leave a trail of damage behind them along the way. And I've done both. And I'm telling you, the significant part of being a leader, and John Maxwell at my conference a couple of weeks ago, John said it. He talked specifically about being a significant leader and being a servant leader in business. You can still make all the money you want to make. But when you do it through a relational lens and not a transactional lens, completely different experience for the customer or for the people that you serve in their business and how you help them solve problems.
I think one of the most powerful things that you've taught me is that you said to me, the platform gives you, your talent gives you the platform, but your character allows you to stay there. So let's talk on that and how, especially nowadays, everybody's online, right? Everybody's on Facebook, and there's a lot of leaders out there that are not leading with character. Right. So let's talk about that, because that was one of the most profound things anybody's ever told me, but let alone, you said it with so much heart and so much conviction, is that, if you got talent, there's a platform, but if you got character, you have a lifetime journey in this field. Right. Yeah. And so let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think number one, it's important. One of my best friends, Nate May, he worked for John Maxwell forever. And Nate says all the time, he goes, because the internet's it's everywhere. Right? Like there's people, I'm a coach, I'm a guru. You said guru earlier, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not a guru. Like that word just that word guru, right? Yeah, I get it. I understand what it means, but it's so overused. It's almost like the word purpose. When you say purpose, like, oh yeah, I know. And people don't understand the power of that word purpose. When you say, when you talk about guru, you talk about those kind of things. I think the thing is, again, I think when you lean into servant leadership and you lean into, I want something for people, not from people, you're going to have people that are in your circle that aren't where they need to be. And I remember I sat down with a young kid, 23, 24 years old, about $3.5 million in his business last year. And I said, dude, you need me to coach you. You need me in your life. He goes, oh no, I got so-and-so, another big time coach. If I said his name, you'd go, yep, know exactly who he is. He goes, I got him. I said, listen, I'm not going to coach you on business development. I'm going to coach you on character and integrity, because I don't care how much money you've done. And he's in a situation in the last several months to where it's cost him. It's really cost him, because people know that we were associated some. They're coming to me going, hey, I gave this company X amount of dollars to do X and they haven't done anything. Or I gave this guy X amount of dollars. He hasn't. I'm like, you have to take that up with him. And the issue is because we feel like that. And what Nate says is there's a lot of people talking, but very few people have something to say. Like everybody out there has a title and a coach and an influencer and a guru and a this and a that. Listen, if you're going to hire a coach, find out they've done something. Don't just take their word, because I see them. Oh, I spent millions of dollars on this, and I've made millions of dollars on this, and you know what? Like, if you want in certain level masterminds, or you want in around certain people, like show me. My good buddy Steve Trang is one of the top real estate brokers in Phoenix, Scottsdale area. He's got one of the top real estate podcasts in America. He makes you send his tax returns. Like, he wants to see your tax returns before he'll put you on the podcast, because everybody is out there saying they've done these things and they really haven't. So do your research and your homework on people who say they've done stuff, and a lot of them just haven't done it before. So do your homework, number one, on that. And then I just say, if you lead with a servant heart and you really do have a heart to live a life of character and integrity, and you do that, you're going to get around the right people. and the real good relationships like a Randy Garn. Because I just had a situation in the last month with a pretty famous person. And I called Randy and I said, hey, here's what's on. And I sent him the text messages and the emails. And he just said, man, dude, unfortunately, they're just not a very good person. They're not a very nice person. Just move forward. Don't let it. Because I don't ever like to be at odds with anybody, like never. But Randy said, unfortunately, they're not a very good person. You just have to move forward. I said, yes, sir.
Well, you and Randy are my divine masculines in my life for sure. That you guys are so beautifully and God-centered, and I, there's a lot of wounded masculine out there, and you and Randy are beautiful, beautiful leaders. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Let me tell you what Randy said on that, and I was going to say this and I forgot. He told me, he goes, because we just entered into an advisory relationship in the last just few weeks after my Create conference, and Randy said, had we been in our relationship up front, I would have said, avoid this person. So you've got to have that goes into your corner, community circle corner. Your corner are the one or two people that have a 10,000 foot view of your life. Randy's one of those guys. Sean Lovejoy is one of those guys. Sean Lovejoy knows everything.
And you're
about
one of those guys. So you know.
Yes, thank you very much. But you've got to have guys in your corner that have a 10,000 foot view that can say, hey,
and women. You have to have women
yes,
in your corner.
Of course it will. I mean, obviously if I'm a man, I need some men in my life. You've got to have people that can say, hey, watch out for this pothole. Watch out for this landmine. Watch out for this hand grenade. Because those things are coming down the road. And if you know those things are coming, then what happens is it gives you an opportunity not to get blown up. You're just avoiding mistakes that they've made in the past. And you really can borrow their wisdom and their experience.
I love that, borrowing their wisdom and the experience. And I say that all the time, right? I've been in this field for 15 years with grad school and my internships 20 years, but take my wisdom that I have. I live by love and wisdom. You know that, right? It's my code of ethics. And so take my wisdom and my mistakes that I've made and do and implement them so you don't have to make the same mistakes, right? So guys, there are so many gold nuggets here in what Ken's saying. Please stay tuned, but we're going to go for a quick commercial break, but please stay tuned because he is a genius in the business field and he is a genius in tapping into character and soul. We will be right back, guys. Stay tuned for more Ken Joslin. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being on the Soul on Fire show. I am here with one of my favorite humans on the planet, Ken Joslin. We are talking business. We are talking God. We are talking all things character and discernment. And we are talking about really, truly living in your purpose at your highest level that you can from the highest character you can. Hi, Ken. Thanks for being here. Welcome back.
Man, I'm super excited. Love being with you.
Oh, I love being with you too. It's a beautiful journey we get to do together. So let's talk about you and your company and what you guys do, because it's so incredible what you guys do and you transform leaders, right? That's really what you do. You come in and it's people that are natural born leaders or not natural born leaders, but you teach them how to be leaders. But what I think I love the most about you and your company is that you teach them how to lead from like you said, solvent leaders, and they lead in a different way, and your company guides people in such a different way than most. And so let's talk about that and why that's so important to you.
Yeah, well, it's again, it goes back to the three things that we help business leaders do: build confidence, gain clarity, and create community. And I think the confidence component is huge. Like if you're not confident, if you struggle with limiting beliefs, if you have limiting beliefs like fear, insecurity, scarcity, comparison, shame, or success, it's very hard for you, because the definition of a limiting belief is something that prohibits you from seeing the potential of your own future. Like it robs your ability to be able to dream. It robs your ability to be able to paint the picture of what you want your life to look like. Like it steals that away from you. And then if you don't have the ability to be able to dream, like there's no hope. Like, why do I get out of bed in the morning? Some of you guys watching this show today, you're like, Man, I just don't want to get out of bed. Well, I say a lot. Well, I say this a lot. If you need an alarm clock to get out of bed, your goals aren't big enough. Like if you need an alarm clock to get out of bed, you should go to bed every night going, I can't wait to get up tomorrow. Like I am super stoked to get up because I've got this to do. And I've got, Chase is my team lead, 20 agents to EXP, $16 million. We're going to do 1.89 million in revenue on GSD. We've got 50 people in our mastermind, 500 people in our live events, 250 people in our online community. I've got a CFO or COO integrator that I'm going to hire this year. I've already got a content person. I've already got a sales and marketing team. Like these are all the goals. I'm already at 75 pounds down. Now my goal's 86. Well, now it's about to go to 106. Like I want to be on GrowthCon 6 main stage. I want Ed Milet, who just emailed me, by the way, and John Maxwell at my conference next year. Like all these goals I'm writing. And listen, and Noelle, all these goals I'm writing down, it propels me at nighttime to when the alarm clock catches me. I would say on an average, I don't set the alarm clock on Sunday. I set it on Saturday morning, Monday through Saturday. I set it. I would say 2 days a week, my alarm clock gets me. All the other days I'm up before my alarm clock goes off because I'm ready to roll. There's too much purpose. There's too much passion. There's too much excitement about what I get to do. I'm seeing just like that comment I read you from the guy who struggled with PTSD, the former Marine. I've got more done in 8 days on this challenge since the challenge than I did in the 8 years previous since I exited the Marine Corps. Like when you see stuff like that, you're making a difference in people's lives, dude. It's like, let's go. So you've got to, as a leader, you've got to find that confidence. You've got to find the clarity. Like, how do I become clear? Here's one way you do it. We have 5 core values: passion, focus, intentionality, teachability, and flexibility. Passion is how we attack our goals. Focus is how we dominate our calendar. How do I dominate my calendar? I fill my planner out every single day. Focus is how I dominate my time. Like I'm going to squeeze every ounce of potential out of every single day. Third is intentionality. We're intentional on how we speak to one another and to our clients. Fourth is teachability. I'm not only open to feedback, but I actively pursue feedback. I am constantly learning. I am constantly growing. I'm reading books. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm doing courses. I'm constantly doing that. The fifth one is flexibility. We live in a fluid world. We are not only open to, but we embrace change. Like, how can we change? How can we get better? We're constantly leaning into those things. And when you have a clear set of values for your life, for your company, it brings you clarity. It helps you understand on the journey to that picture you're painting of exactly not just where you're going, but how you're going to carry yourself, how your employees are going to carry yourself. When I do my 15-minute one-on-ones with my team every week, I take all 5 of those core values and I score them 1 through 10, with 10 being the highest. There is extreme clarity on how you're doing in your job. And so just to get back to my point, if you need an alarm clock to get out of bed in the morning, your goals aren't big enough. Like, what are you dreaming for? Like, what are you believing for? And then it rolls from confidence, clarity into community. Like, who are the people you're doing life with? Like, who is that group of people that you hop on a call with? We have a call tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Who are the people you're going to hop? We have 4 or 5 dozen entrepreneurs from across the country, every race, men, women, every age, and every economic level, from zero to I got a guy doing 91 million this year. I got a guy doing over 100 million this year. Like, they're all in between. Like, who's the community of people that are holding you accountable to the dreams that you've set?
I love that so much. And thank you for holding me accountable, because you hold me accountable all the time, and you keep me in check when I'm in my ego. So I appreciate you for that very, very much. I'm going to ask you a journey. We're going to go on this channel. We go pretty deep into not just the surface stuff. So let's talk about your personal journey and how you said you lost 70 pounds already, which is, 70, what was it?
76 pounds.
First of all, I'm so proud of you for that. And secondly, I can't even begin to tell you, I've never experienced that journey because I'm a teeny person, right? So from that space, I think that's one of the biggest obstacles you can ever overcome in your life, right? It was you against you, and you found you, and you found your way back to your soul. Let's talk about that if you're okay with that, and going into the journey of the personal journey and how that affected you and your family and your business, and where it is now, and how'd you get through that? Because that's almost, I'm literally 100 pounds. That's almost a whole person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I think you want to achieve something great, for me, it was, my health journey has been huge for me. I set a goal right at 2 years ago to lose 66 pounds. The first thing I had to do is I had to acknowledge where I was. I had to get on the scale. I umpire college baseball. I've done it for years. I was at the SEC ACC camp, had a great camp, but they're like, dude, you got to lose weight. So I came home and I got on the scale, and I looked down and it said 308 pounds. I was disgusted with myself. I didn't want to get on the scale. I thought I was 280 something. That's how bad off it was. I was 20 pounds heavier than I thought it was. I got on the scale and I was disgusted with myself. I was angry with myself. I was frustrated with myself. The first thing I did when I stepped off the scale was I grabbed my phone. I went to social media and I said, I got on the scale today. Here's what I weigh. In 1 year, I'm going to lose 66 pounds. I put it out in front of thousands of people on social media going, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And they've watched this journey for 2 years. The second thing that's come out of that journey is the concept that I teach everywhere now called incremental, not monumental, which is small, daily, disciplined decisions over time always equal monumental results. Success cannot escape you when you do the right things every single day. It can't. It cannot escape you. If you do the right things every single day, success can't escape you. It is impossible. I want to show you this real quick because I know we're doing this on video, and so I know all your TV audience, they will be able to see this right here. This is my little before and after picture.
Wow.
Boom. Yeah, I know, right? Like,
I've seen that picture before, but I'm just so proud of you.
Dude, and I'm not done. So I write my goals down twice a day, every day. Every morning I write them down, and every evening I write them down. And I write my goals down. Now it's lose 86. It was 66 pounds. When I got to about 65, I bumped it up 20 pounds because I wanted to keep it just out of reach, because that drives me to get to that goal. So now it's 86, about another 5, 7, 8 pounds. I'm going to bump it up to 106. That's going to be my final goal. I'm not losing more than that. But I think in order for you to do something that is phenomenal and great, and for you to explode out of average, you've got to lean into incremental, not monumental. Small daily disciplined decisions over time always equal monumental results. Success cannot escape you when you do the right things every day. The thing is, and well, I've been in this 10X community for 2 years. A lot of people started at the same time I did, but there's only a handful of people that are still doing it. Only a handful. That handful of people are the people that now are making major impact, because it's every day. People go, Ken, do you feel like doing it every day? Hell no, I don't feel like doing it every day. I didn't get home last night, 5-hour plane flight. I didn't get home. My flight didn't land till 10:45. I didn't get home and in the bed till like 12:30, 1:45. My ass was still up. Now, the alarm clock did get me this morning, but my ass was up and I went to the gym this morning. Like, we've got to go. When you don't feel like it is the most important time for you to make the decision and do it anyway.
Well, I think it's Dave Meltzer that says all the time, right? The empty mile is the road to take, right? And so it's pretty incredible because you're always on the empty mile. It's not the it's not the there's a quote about the long mile or whatever, but it's the empty mile. You go the extra mile always, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I only know you for a very, very short time, but I've never not known you to live everything that you speak, really, truly out of your mouth. I mean, there's with character, with business, with your relationships, with everything with you and your personal health. There's not a moment that your character has been flawed.
You didn't see those chocolate covered almonds I was eating.
Oh, I did. You showed me that. You did, and your strawberries too. And it's okay. You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to have that, right? I say 80-20, right? And so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. I just love you. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for you in my life. Thanks for being here, guys. Stay tuned because we have more show with Ken. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being on the Soul on Fire show. Thank you for watching us live. Thank you for watching us on the replay. I am Noelle Agape, and I'm a leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness. Today, we are here with badass business coach. He turned from pastor to entrepreneur coach and is blowing up the stages all over the world. Ken Joslin, thanks for being here, Ken. So, Ken, let's talk about key takeaways for people that are trying to grow in their business space, in their personal space. We've talked about, you overcoming so many things in your life, whether it was health or, whether it's in business. Somebody that's right in the thick of it, somebody that's going and just, that breakthrough, from the zone of excellence to the zone of genius. And you and I have talked about that is what, your zone of excellence is fantastic. You do really good things at, but that's your worst enemy to your zone of genius, right? And so let's talk about that and maybe some key takeaways of how to get into your zone of genius.
Yeah, well, I'll say this, John Maxwell, I heard him say this years and years ago. He said, his professor at seminary said, your greatest strength on the flip side of that coin is always your greatest weakness. Your greatest strength is always your greatest weakness. I heard John say that probably 25 years ago. And that's huge to understand that I can operate in my strength, but it's also can be a weakness in my life. But I think the thing is to find what your greatest strength is. You just have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to not be the best at whatever it is you do. You've got to be willing to go, you know what? I'm not 100% sure if this is what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm going to give it 110%. And when I do that, I'm going to know, hey, am I good at this? Is this something I want to do? Or it's going to be like, no, this ain't it. So let me go. It's a journey. Like we are so interested in, and I say this a lot, we overestimate what we can do in the short term and we underestimate what we can do in the long term. Like this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We want instant results because of Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn and all the stuff we see on TV. We literally want it to happen overnight. The problem is it just doesn't happen that way. It does not work that way. So I think, how do I find my zone of genius? I think number one, it's gonna be in somewhat of alignment of what you love to do. Like, what am I passionate about? Start doing that, and then watch the relationships come in your life that you need to be able to help you grow and get to the next level. Pretty amazing process.
I love that so much. And that really is such, that really is the pocket, my entire brand is Soul on Fire. Right. And so, and I was a therapist and working in the dark and then needed to be in wellness. And so what I found through my journey was that the more that I'm living from my soul, the more I'm living in authenticity, the more I'm showing up in spiritual maturity, the more God puts in the right people, you, Randy, people in my life that truly, truly just explode your brand and explode your business. And so let's talk about vulnerability in relationships, vulnerability in business. And because I think that's such a huge component that many people leave out, and it's we got to grind, we got to do this. But I think the softer side of business and the softer side of relationships is being vulnerable and accepting accountability, right? And understanding. You and I had such a beautiful conversation before the call that it allowed me to see like vulnerability is one of the most important things in this life because everyone's human, right? But there's spiritual maturity that we have to bring into it as well.
Vulnerability tells people it's not about me; it's about the other person. I said this at Create on Saturday when I talked about how do I attract the right people in my life. I'm going to talk about it tonight. How do I get the right circle? How do I get the wrong people out the right way? And how do I get the right people in my life? You get the right people in your life by wanting something for people and not from people. Like I want something for you, not from you. There's nothing you have that I need. And I've been fortunate, man. I've got some really, really cool friends. I've got some amazing friends.
I'm one of them.
Yes. I don't want anything. I don't want anything from them. Like I don't want, my buddy David Pollack from ESPN's College Game Day, man. He's one of the most recognizable faces in Georgia. Like you can't go anywhere with Davey and everybody knows who he is. If you're a college football fan, Game Day is the most watched show on ESPN. You know Davey. He's a personal friend of mine for like 10 or 12 years. Coach Hugh Jackson, former NFL head coach for the Raiders and the Browns. He was at my conference as well. We did a fundraising dinner for him and for Davey that night. When you want something for people, and it's funny because I had somebody text me. I can't tell you who it is, but I had somebody text me for the fundraising this night. I said, there isn't a win for me. These guys are both friends of mine, and I want to help them raise money for their foundations. They were like, okay. Like they were wanting to know what the angle was. Like, what's the win for you? I'm like, there's no play in this for me. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with them.
Well, there's never been a moment that I've known you that you haven't shown up for me and basically for everyone that you stand in front of, really. And so your character is so impeccable beyond words. And it's truly one of my favorite things about you is that you truly have the deepest character of some people that I know. I mean, it's really incredible. And I believe that you're so in touch with everyone has the masculine and feminine energies within inside of them, right? And I believe that you're so in your masculine and you're so in touch with your feminine as well. And I think that that's such a huge piece. And so let's talk about that, and let's talk about understanding the dynamics between the ego and moving past that and through the ego to get to spiritual maturity.
Well, the ego is not your amigo. Your ego is not your amigo. And again, this is the importance of community, circle, and corner. You have the right people in your life. You have no need for ego. You have the right people in your life. You have no need for ego. When you have someone that leans over to you at your conference and says, I'm glad God's connected us. I'm here to help you get your message to the world. It's not an ego thing. It's like, oh my God, like this is so humbling. Like we walked out of that conference with John Maxwell and Jesse and Randy Garn and Jen Gottlieb and Anthony Trucks and Dave Meltzer and Craig Siegel and I mean, dude, just on to Gary Brecka. I mean, just on Brent Gove, one of the top real estate agents at EXP, 25,000 agents under him, $1 million a month in residual income. When you got guys like Brent comes to me, he goes, Kathy and I just sent you 35 grand. We're signing up for your mastermind. I was like, what? You did what? He said, dude, I want to be a part of everything you're doing. And I'm like, so humbling. Like the weight of that is like, whew, like, because ego will get in your way of serving and helping other people. Ego will always get in your way of serving and helping other people every single time. It's not about, and dude, let me tell you something. When you walk in a room like that room at Create, this was the one amazing thing about the entire weekend and all the speakers I brought on that stage, because most everyone except for Jen, I did not know Jen. But Randy said, hey, she needs to be out here.
Jen's one of my favorite humans.
Absolutely. I text her and I sent her and Chris a video yesterday. And absolutely everybody on that stage was not just phenomenal communicators, coaches, business men or women. Everyone on that stage had such a high level of authenticity. And I say this all the time. When you communicate from a platform and you're speaking to a large audience and you can do it with what does Gary say? The vibration or the frequency of authenticity. What happens is it immediately makes what you say believable and achievable to the people in the seats. Like I can do that. Like I can do this. Like I can take this information, apply it to my life, and I can see some of the same results that come out of my life. Like I literally can do this. And so I think that's huge. On the ego side, your ego, all it's going to do is keep you from fulfilling your purpose. You want to talk about not living a life of purpose, not living a life where you're experiencing fulfillment on the daily. Let your ego get involved. Let your ego say, you deserve this. You deserve to be on this stage. You deserve to be in this position. You deserve to be when that happens, it is a vicious cycle, and all it's going to do is lead you downhill, because it's telling you that you deserve. And what happens is the more you eat that fruit, the more you're going to start to believe it, and the less and less impact you're going to have on the people that you're called and created to have an impact on.
Well, and I think that's the key, right? Is impact and understanding that moving from the I to the we, and the ego loves the I and wants to validate the I, but the we is the collective, and we're here on purpose for purpose, right? You are the most beautiful human, and I adore you. Thank you for showing up in your divine masculine always, and thank you for keeping me in check in my divine feminine when I need to be. And thank you for just bringing your life and your gifts to the world. And how can people find you? What are you working on right now? We have about 5 more minutes.
Yeah, at Ken Joslin on Instagram. Our website is GROW Stack STACK Drive.
And I'll link that. I'll link that in the comments below.
GrowStackDrive.com. Yeah, and we're working on some amazing stuff for the future. Mastermind. Obviously, our Create 2023 is January the 26th of next year. I've already got John Maxwell lined up. I just got an email from Ed Milet about an hour ago. So we're going to get Ed lined up for Saturday soon.
I have you.
Yes. And we've got Noelle.
Well, I meant they have you.
Well, yes, I will be there. Yeah, most definitely. And you know, this year's conference was so amazing. It was such a game changer. We've got a live online event March the 3rd that we're doing with my friend Amberly Lago. I don't know if you know Amberly or not.
I do. I adore her. I adore her. She's
phenomenal. She is like my sister from another mister. She's amazing. Beautiful. Amberly's coming in. My good friend Master Jeff Jafari. Forbes magazine's pinned him as the Tony Robbins of Dubai. Humble, so humble, such a humble guy. Brent Gove, my buddy from EXP. I just got some amazing friends, and it's really cool to be able to live my life right now with the people that I have in my life, and to be able to make an impact the way that we're able to make an impact.
Well, and I think that the kindest thing in your heart is that you're so humble with your success, and you're so humble with who you are. And you don't realize the difference that you make people's lives in just your presence. Like really, 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 you are changing the world, and you are showing up in the divine masculine. And there is no question in my mind that anything that you're a part of, I'll be a part of if you need me. So I'm so grateful for you. So one key takeaway for everybody, we have a couple more minutes. What one key takeaway that is the most important thing that everybody can do every day to be successful in their life, their business, their relationships?
I've got 4 daughters, 26, 22, 18, and 13. Almost said 15, 18 and 13. From the time my 26-year-old was in kindergarten, I used to take them to school in the car rider. I'd drop them off. And every day I'd ask them this question: what do servant leaders do? Mm-hmm. And when Holly, my 26-year-old, powerlifting, athletic, married now for over a year, phenomenal husband, picked me up at the airport last night at 10:30 because she likes to drive Dad's new car while he's out of town for a few days. She picked me up last night, but every day I'd ask her, what do servant leaders do? And all 4 of them would look at me and say, Daddy, servant leaders put other people's needs before their own. They do things right the first time, and they do things without being asked. And then every afternoon when I picked them up at Car Rider, I'd say, okay, how are you a servant leader today? And they would give me an example of how they practice servant leadership. So from the time Holly was 5 years old all the way until she was 21 in college, and worked at a brand new Chick-fil-A here in Birmingham that just opened up, and got promoted all the way up through the ranks, where she was like the front kitchen manager or whatever. She sent me a picture on her phone one day, and you know at Chick-fil-A where they're standing in the front and the kitchen slides like the chicken nuggets and the French fries down those little aluminum trays. Dude, that's right. You don't eat chicken, do you? You've never had Chick-fil-A? We're gonna have to have a conversation. I don't know that you can get in heaven without eating. I don't know that you can get in heaven without eating Chick-fil-A. But she sends me a picture. She sends me a picture of that little stainless steel thing, and written in Sharpie marker were the 3 characteristics of a servant leader. And her owner operator went to her and he was like, how are you doing this with your team? Like, how are you getting them to grow? And she goes, it's really easy. It's these 3 characters. She just named them all off. And he said, I want you to write that right there in the kitchen where everybody sees it every day. And so she did that. And you want to talk about it? How can you be successful? Develop a posture of servant leadership. Put other people's needs before your own. Do things without being asked, and do things right the first time. You do those 3 things, life will get a lot smoother and a lot easier for you.
You are a fantastic human, and thank you for being in my orb. I love you so much. Thank you for bringing your light to the world. And I just love you, and I am so grateful to have you in my life, and really anything that I can support you. One more time, where they can find you.
At Ken Joslin, KenJoslin on Instagram. That's the best way. From there, you can get connected with everything we're doing.
Thank you, my love, for being here. You're incredible. I love spending my life with you, and it's a friendship that is really going to excel in the next year for sure. You're incredible, and I'm just honor you for bringing your gifts to the world. Thanks for bringing God out into the world through you and allowing God to come through you. I really appreciate you.
Appreciate that, girl.
Okay, good to see you. I'll talk to you soon. Wow, guys, what an amazing show. He's one of my favorite humans. As you know, that you could just sit in his orb forever. If you need help with business, if you need help with your life, he is the man to go to, because he is absolutely going to change your world. I want you to know how powerful you are. You are more powerful than you know. Everything is inside of you. If you're wanting to move out of your space that you're in, if you wanted to grow, know that your soul is here to experience and expand. And if you are not expanding, your experience will be very bumpy along the ride. And if you need support, please contact Ken or contact me. There's plenty of support out there, so there's no excuses. Make a choice every single day to be a better person. It just takes one step in the right direction every day to be a better person. You don't have to conquer the mountain in one day, but you do have to take the first step. I love you guys so much, and you are more powerful than you will ever know. I will see you in the next video.